Hello there, good morning, and thanks for joining us on today's edition of your WhatsApp breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. My name is Laura Okapa, and of course, for so many people out there, it's thank God, it's Friday. Why are people so excited about Friday? Why did you enjoy Fridays that much? Well, for us here, we always keep you updated with happenings in the Nigerian society, especially that affects you and I in Abia State. We have a lot of things to dish out for you this morning, but of course, Isn't one for standing by with the news updates. Good morning, Isn't.
Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning.
On the news segment of Good Morning, Abia, on Tuesday, August 27, 2019, the Abia State celebrated our 28th anniversary since its creation. As part of ceremonies marking the occasion, State Governor Okisi Ibazu addressed Abians on the progress made so far by the state. The guest on Star Television's breakfast program, Good Morning, Abia, expressed challenges confronting the state in the area of security. The reports.
Basic functions are providing leadership, maintaining order, providing public services, and maintaining security for all. Citizens depend on the government for protection, while government exercises political, economic, and military power to enhance security. Guests emphasize security challenges facing Abia State while proffering solutions.
The government of Abia State has to do so much. We have to imbibe the way the Anambra vigilante groups are doing from all the communities. We have to pick people from all the communities. Even if it's 50-50 people, and train them. Give them the gadgets, give them the vehicles to be moving around, because they know the people around. It's a situation where people come and take people from here, like he was saying, Obo Hill is the criminal zone of Abia. Then you go to Mpongwa area, they call Mpongwa area, you see people who call themselves Arrow boys and all that. They are all over the place. So we need to, the government is doing, but they need to do more.
The corruption in the system is not really helping issues. A crime is being committed in your street. You tell the police, some people in my street are smoking in their hand. Police will tell you to come and write petition, you write. Police will tell you to bring money to make entry, you bring. Police will tell you bring money for the approval of the petition, you bring. Police will tell you bring money for us to go and make an arrest, you bring. If someone commit a crime, police, they will not come. They will only come when they know that you have settled them. You are giving them money to buy fuel, you are giving them money to mobilize them. Somebody commits a crime, they will not, it's only money. So when we talk about Nigerian police and security, I will just laugh.
The guests also suggested the need for local armed security outfits to exist in the state, which will be under the strict control of the state government.
I implore the leadership of our state, the governor, to borrow a leaf or even two leaves, one from Anambra and one from Enugu State, and come over and replicate the same thing in Abia State, so that our people can secure the state. It is the owners of the state that will secure the state. That's the only way out.
Employ forest guards. Let them pay their salary and let them help us. That's a very cheap way of doing it. We provide job, it's safer, and it's more effective.
Political stability and economic growth depends on security. Strengthening existing security infrastructure in the state is a cardinal object of government as Abia marks 28 years of existence.
The Nigeria Police Force on Thursday commenced the police campaign against cultism and other vices in Enugu. The campaign, among other things, is intended to ensure the adoption and implementation of community policing for adequate protection of the lives and property of the citizens. Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu said the campaign would not have come at a better time than now, when cultism and other vices have taken root in the society. Adamu was represented by the Assistant Inspector General in charge of Zone 9, Tijani Bada. The IGP said the campaign was also in line with the federal government's resolve to reduce the increasing rate of crime in the society. He said everybody must be involved in the fight against cultism and other vices in order to ensure that the society is safe for all to thrive. The police force confirmed that as part of these efforts to ensure the safety of the citizens, was recruiting 40,000 police constables to take care of various communities across the country. Meanwhile, the Anambra State Police Command on Thursday arrested suspected carjackers operating in the state and Delta State. They were said to be in possession of no fewer than 150 handsets. The police public relations officer, Mr. Haruna Mohammed, said the handsets were suspected to have been stolen from different victims. Mohammed said the suspects were nabbed by 4 other operatives in conjunction with police detectives attached to Agwata Division of the command following credible intelligence reports. He gave the names of the suspects as Aningo Arinze of Otweke Asala, Delta State, Chinedu Weke of Udekwe Estate, Ogidi in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State. Another suspect is Ebuka Christian Eziamaka of Iwe Village, Obosi, also in Idemili North local government area. The police public relations officer said the suspects were part of the gang allegedly involved in series of armed robbery and carjacking in Anambra and Asaba Axis. He said among the vehicles they stole recently were one Toyota Corolla 2004 and Lexus 300 car in Akwata, Anambra State. Mr. Mohammed said the case was under investigation after the suspects will be prosecuted. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday in Yokohama, Japan, said that the few Nigerians abroad indulging in criminal activities do not represent the values of the majority of the people of the country. President Buhari spoke at a meeting with leaders of the Nigerian community living in Japan on the sidelines of the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development. He urged Nigerians in Japan to be good ambassadors of the country. The president commended many of them who were contributing their quota to the development of the country through financial home remittances, promoting international trade in Nigerian commodities. He enjoined them to encourage legitimate Japanese entrepreneurs to come and invest in Nigeria. President, Nigerians in Diaspora Organization Asia, Professor Idiogu Emenike said that Nigerians in Japan have comparative advantage in human capital development. He spoke of their readiness to bring back their expertise home. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday in Yokohama, Japan, sought the support of the Japanese government in combating piracy in the Gulf of Guinea and illegal fishing in that region. The president made a request during a bilateral meeting between the Nigerian delegation and Japanese officials led by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on the margins of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development. The Nigerian leader thanked the Japanese government for attending the pioneer celebration of June 12 as Democracy Day in Nigeria. In his remarks, Prime Minister Abia welcomed President Buhari's participation at the CONFAC and the country's signing of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Mr. Abia pledged a $300,000 support for Nigeria's Defense College as well as 12 million yen for the country's public health sector. He also pledged his country's support for Nigeria's presidency of the 74th section of the United Nations General Assembly, while seeking Nigeria's support for Japan's bid to occupy some global positions. Also on Thursday in Yokohama, Nigeria and the European Union signed a €50 million agreement memorandum of understanding to support humanitarian and development efforts in the country's northeast region. President Muhammadu Buhari has attributed the partial closure of Nigeria's border with Benin Republic to the massive smuggling activities, especially of rice. He said that the limited closure of the country's western border is to allow Nigerian security forces develop a strategy on how to stem the dangerous trend and its wider ramifications. The exercise, codenamed Swift Response, is being jointly conducted by the Customs, Immigration, Police and Military personnel and coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor. President Buhari added the reason during an audience granted his Benin's counterpart, Patrice Talon, on the margins of the 7th Tokyo International Conference for African Development, TICAD 7, in Yokohama, Japan, on Wednesday. The president's spokesman, Mr. Femi Adesina, in a statement in Abuja, said President Buhari expressed great concern over the smuggling of rice. The president stated that the activities of the smugglers threaten the self-sufficiency attained due to his administration's agricultural policies. Responding to the concerns raised by President Talon on the magnitude of suffering caused by the closure. President Buhari said he had taken note and will consider reopening the border soon. He disclosed that a meeting with his counterparts from Benin and Niger republics will soon be called to determine strict and comprehensive measures to curtail the level of smuggling across the borders. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, on Thursday said the federal government will complete all ongoing and abandoned projects across the country. He disclosed this when the management team of Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria paid him a courtesy visit in his office. Fashola said the policy direction of government was to complete all ongoing and abandoned projects. The minister said the ministry will see that the process was completed. Fashola said there was a lot that could be jointly done by the ministry and the bank. He assured the bank's team of the ministry's readiness to look at each project that were ongoing and passionate ways of completing them. The incumbent governor, Alhaji Yahaya Bello, has emerged the candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the primary held on Thursday. He polled 3,224 votes to emerge the lead winner in a primary contested by 10 aspirants. The governor was followed by Dr. Babatunde Birukere, who polled 109, and Hassan Baiwa, who polled 44. Other results as announced by the returning officer are Yahaya Aoudi, 10 votes, Sani Lulu Abdullahi, 7 votes, Bashe Gebu, 4 votes, while Blessing Ekele, Iyoma Hadiza, Yakuba Muhammad, and Dalami Muhammad garnered no votes. Announcing the result, the governor of Jigawa State, Balaru Abubakar, who was a returning officer, urged delegates to accept the result of the election in good faith. He put the total number of delegates at 3,500. The National Examination Council, NECO, has released its June-July Senior Secondary School Examination results. It also recommended the recognition of 3 schools in Katsina, Kebbi, and Oyo State for 2 years for their involvement in mass cheating during the examination. The acting registrar of the council, Alhaji Abubakar Ghana, said this during the release of the 2019 June-July Senior School Certificate Examination results in Mina. He confirmed that a total of 1,163,194 registered for the examination. The registrar stated that 40,630 cases of malpractices were recorded, representing 3.53% in 2019, as against 20,181 in 2018. He said that the number of candidates that sat for the examination was 1,151,016, including 146 blind students. Alhaji Abubakar stated that the candidates who met credit and above in English language were 984,152, which represented 85.50%. He said candidates who met credit in mathematics were 954,399, representing 83.03%. Benign prostate hyperplasia, also called prostate gland enlargement, is a common health condition amongst men, especially when getting older. The medical practitioner, Dr. Oluchukwu, enlightens the public on the causes, symptoms, and treatment of prostate gland enlargement. Roots and herbs of this disease.
That enlargement of the prostate occurs when the cells of the prostate gland begin to multiply. The additional cells cause the prostate gland to swell, which experts say squeezes the urethra and limits the flow of urine. Also known as benign prostate hyperplasia, BPH, enlargement of the prostate is a normal condition of male aging. It affects mostly men from 50 years and above. Speaking to MCL News, a medical practitioner speaks on the risk factors and symptoms of enlargement of the prostate. He also differentiates prostate enlargement and prostate cancer.
The diamond-shaped organ is situated at the back of the bladder, in between the neck of the bladder and the first part of the urethra. It also occurs in families. If the father or any of the siblings, if any of them has such a case, another brother or any of the siblings may also have it. We have people that are fat, obesity. If you are obese or overweight, you are prone to have this disease. Is race inclined too. It's mainly seen in the blacks than in the whites. People that doesn't do exercise at all, lack of exercise. These are predisposing factors.
Urgency, hesitancy, dribbling of urine, feeling of incomplete voiding. That is the sequence it goes. Then the person may also have what we call a hematuria. Hematuria is blood in urine.
Although the exact cause is unknown, changes in male hormones that come with aging may be a factor.
Treatment depends on the age of the patient. Age of the patient, if it is cancerous, the level of the stage of the cancer. If it's benign, and the person starts having urinary retention or not. More fruit and vegetables help us to have they release a very powerful antioxidants that will help to fight the free radicals in our body. So it's good for people to be eating fruits, vegetables. Do exercise. Don't stay without having exercise. So you must do one or two, at least 30 minutes in a day or 15 minutes in a day. Then another one is very important, is that if you are taking alcohol, you must reduce the intake of alcohol. If you are taking cigarette smoking, you must stop cigarette smoking. For fruits, vegetable, and adequate exercise will help people to reduce.
Men at 50 years and above have been advised to go for regular checkup, as this will go a long way in early detection of the ailment and possible cure. Eating a balanced diet, especially fruits and vegetables, exercise, avoiding a sedentary lifestyle, experts say still remain the best ways to prevent prostate enlargement. Ruth Ohams, MCL News.
And on the foreign scene, Japan's Prime Minister on Thursday warns African leaders against accumulating too much debt in an apparent reference to Chinese infrastructure projects that some blamed for damaging the finances of developing nations. Addressing leaders from several African nations at a development conference in Yokohama, Shinzo Abe stressed that Tokyo was promoting quality infrastructure exports and investments supported by Japan's government-backed institutions. He said that introducing financial and insurance schemes by Japan's government-based institutions aimed at reducing risks to businesses and public corporates. Abe announced that Japan plans to train experts in 30 African countries in the next 3 years on managing risks and public debts. The comment came as he aims to boost Japan's presence in the promising African market, but many businesses are wary of financial and other risks. The Chinese, however, has faced criticism for favoring Chinese companies and workers over local economies, saddling nations with debts and ignoring rights and environmental issues. Japan stresses that if loans and projects comes with few strings attached, sound financial advice and support. Since 1993, Japan has partnered with African countries to hold the TICAD conference around every 5 years in a strive to promote aid and business opportunities. Japan, with its own government funding problems, has struggled to increase its foreign aid money as it has shifted its focus on encouraging the private sector to invest in Africa. The Brazilian government has banned what it called land clearance places for 60 days. The decree was signed by President Jair Bolsonaro, who has faced intense criticism at home and abroad for failing to protect the Amazon rainforest. A leading Brazilian environmentalist warned on Wednesday that the worst of the fire is yet to come. South American countries will meet next week to discuss the crisis. It remains unclear what impact the ban will have, as environmentalists say the overwhelming majority of forest clearance in the Brazilian Amazon is already illegal and enforcement is lax. The Amazon, a vital carbon store that slows down the pace of global warming, has seen more than 80,000 fire breakouts so far this year, a 77% rise on the same period in 2018. Environmentalists say the increase is due in part to policies enacted by the administration of Mr. Bolsonaro. Prosecutors have been investigating allegations that some of the fires were triggered by the illegal clearing of the land, and the decree now bans certain fires for the purpose
across the entire country. And with that news, I'll be moving back to Nora.
Thank you so much, Ezine, for that update from the news desk. We'll take a break, and when we return, it will be time to go straight to the review of the dailies. Stay tuned.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
You're welcome back, and if you just joined us, it's still one-stop breakfast show on TV. Of course, it's time now to take a look at the dailies, and we begin with the Daily Sun newspaper. And on the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, Okorocha's kinsmen demand his prosecution. Okorocha's kinsmen demand his prosecution. Find that story on page 9. The major headline on the front page of the Daily Sun this morning says, heads roll over $16 billion per project. Heads to roll over $16 billion per project. EFCC to arrest CEOs for $8.5 billion cash diversion. 4 detained officials released on bail. EFCC to arrest CEOs for $8.5 billion cash diversion. 4 detained officials released on bail. You find that story on page 6. That's a picture story there, and that's President Muhammadu Buhari, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Kwara State Governor Alhaji Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Ojama, Nigerian Ambassador to Japan Mohammed Ganaisa, National Security Advisor to the President's retired Major General Babagana Monguno, after a bilateral meeting between Nigeria and Japan in Yokohama. Nigerians indulging in crime abroad not representing our values, Buhari. Nigerians indulging in crime abroad not representing our values, Buhari. Says country offers attractive investment opportunities. Says country offers attractive investment opportunities. $9.6 billion judgment debt. Federal government denies alleged non-diligent defense of case. $9.6 billion judgment debt. Federal government denies alleged non-diligent defense of case. Court acquits Jonathan's S.H. Didafa, former banker. Police to recruit 40,000 constables. By the stories on pages 4, 5, 7, and 8. And on the back page of the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, on page 47, Duro Onabule writes on Buhari and Atiku in fights to finish. Buhari and Atiku in fights to finish. And on page 45, which is sporty this morning, UCL draw, EPL size, escape Madrid, Juve nightmare. UCL draw, EPL size, escape Madrid, Juve nightmare on page 45. Ono Hauke on public sphere writes on beyond border closure to stop rice smuggling. Beyond border closure to stop rice smuggling. And of course, taking a quote from there, it says, the time has come for the Nigerian government to evolve a policy whereby borders around the country are protected. Whichever way this could be done, either with a wall or security wire, it must be done. Time has come for the Nigerian government to evolve a policy whereby borders around the country are protected. Whichever way this could be done, either with a wall or security wire, it must be done. Well, next is Nation with microphone.
And of course, the Nation newspaper at the top corner of the paper comes up with court acquits Jonathan's S.A. Dufara. Of course, police to recruit 40,000 constables for communities. And that could be found on page 8 of the paper. Gunmen brutally murdered Catholic priest. That could be found on page 5 of the paper. And of course, underneath that, the Southeast Governor's plan relief for travelers as Enugu Airport is shut down. And of course, that is the face of the Governor of Enugu. And of course, that could be found on page 7. Police launch area surveillance in Northwest as Masari meets bandits. That could be found on page 6. And of course, the big bold line from the paper this morning is South governors reject NDDC nominees. We'll meet with the President Muhammadu Buhari to discuss issues, says Dixon. And that can be found on page 42. And of course, if you're wondering what the picture elements there is, take no further. That is the Minister of Science and Technology, Obonaya Onomido, Minister of State, Science and Technology, Mohammed Abdullahi, third right, Permanent Secretary, Bitrus Nabasu, third left, with members of the team represented Nigeria and just concluded Junior Science Olympiad, visiting the minister yesterday in Abuja. And of course, underneath that, it is $9.6 billion judgment. FEC, Federal Executive Council, didn't okay contract, says XAGF. And of course, that could be found on page 46. Police arrest rape suspects. Abia disowned wife allegation. That could be found on page 42 of the paper. And quickly, let's take it to the back page where we have Shegun Badisin, and it says 400 plus years of compromised modernity and debate humanity. And if you're wondering whose face is this, well, you would have to look further, because that is the face of the late Bishop Ajayi Crowell. And of course, let's pass your day with the Ripples, talking about the cartoon animation. And it says woman files for divorce because her husband is too kind. Well, if you ask me, different strokes for different faults. Nora, woman files for divorce. We'll talk about all this.
Well, let's take a look at the New Telegraph newspaper this morning. 150 billion naira worth of rice smuggling into Nigeria in 2019. 150 billion naira worth of rice smuggled into Nigeria in 2019. Ripan goods came in from Thailand, India through semi-border. Ripan goods came in from Thailand, India through semi-border. Inclusion. MTN rolls out financial services. Inclusion. MTN rolls out financial services. The story is on page 1 and continues on page 6. Court. There's Claire's S. Jonathan's aid to DAFA of 1.6 billion naira fraud. Customs and pounds 16 exotic cars, fake drugs worth 502 million naira. Governors kick over composition of NDDC board. Governors kick over composition of NDDC board. VAT, federal government realized 36.3 billion naira from banking services in 2 years. VAT, federal government realized 39.3 billion naira from banking services in 2 years. The stories are found on pages 5, 6, and 8. And the major headline on the front page says, Ihejoha orders Okorocha's arrest over government assets. Ihejoha orders Okorocha's arrest over government assets. Charles attack property recovery committee members in ex-governor's house. Turks attack property recovery committee members in ex-governor's house. Governor's aid, how I was flogged by Okorocha's supporters. Here on page 8. And of course, you see a picture of the assault on the governor's aid. That's the senior special assistant to the governor on security matters, Jasper Njoba, for being flogged by thugs at the residence of former Imo State Governor, Senator Rochas Okorocha, very yesterday. And by the right side, you see a picture of President Muhammad Buhari and Chairman S. Holding Tony Lumelu at the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan. Down there, federal government, bandits killed 1,460 Nigerians in 7 months. Bandits killed 1,460 Nigerians in 7 months. Police to recruit 40,000 constables for community policing. Police to recruit 40,000 constables for community policing. Gunmen kill Catholic priests. IGP deploys helicopters. The story is on page 2. Pesticides raise poor mental health risk. Pesticides raise poor mental health risk. Of course, that's the new research. You can read it out on page 7 of the New Telegraph newspaper. On the back page of the New Telegraph, on the sporting angle, you see Sports Minister, Nigeria to build on African Games success for Olympics. Nigeria to build on African Games success for Olympics on page 37. And Michael works on the snag with single moms. The snag with single moms. Of course, every Friday I look forward to this, and this you should also read it up for yourself. And now the cartoon animation, always making us smile. Say, I will castrate you today, evil pastor. I'm going to cut off that your tool of destruction. And the woman says, wait for me, pastor, you can't leave me. Wait for me, pastor, you can't leave me. Of course, it was the pastor, the husband of the pastor, of the wife, that is saying, I'll castrate you and I'll destroy. I'll cut off your tool of destruction. The tool of destruction. And the wife is saying, no, you can't go anywhere. You must. In fact, you must wait for me. Actually, most of these cartoons have a way of making us laugh and begin to wonder, because you ask me, I don't even know what tool of destruction is.
Well, that will be a discussion for another
day.
It is time for us to talk, Nora. Well, first, I just really want to take us back to the New Telegraph, where your orders of culture arrest over government's assets. And of course, the other man there that was beaten by the supporter. But the question this morning is, what was he doing there?
Well, this is the Recovery Committee.
He has no right. He has no right. You see, sometimes. Maybe sometimes. Look, let's face the facts. He has no position in there. There are procedures. If the governor gives orders,
they should have a statue around.
They should be. He's not a security person. He has no right to be there. And that's you see, sometimes Nigerians are overzealous. Maybe trying to play the master's role the best.
And he got a beating of his life. Why the master is harassing?
He should have been there. That is the governor. He has the right to talk to the CP, which is the Commissioner of Police. He has the right to invite EFCC. He has the right to invite ICPC. What was he? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. And like you said, he got a beating of his life.
But the truth of the matter is that there appears to be so much focus on Okorocha by Emeka and leaving a lot of people to wonder what basically he's fighting for. Does it mean he doesn't have an agenda for his administration?
You see, that's one of the greatest problems to talk about. And I'm very sure that even if you go to Western world, with the way American keeps hyping America and keeps talking about American, I'm sure Obama might have done one or two things that was not proper. Despite the fact that Trump has come up to say some few things that are really comfortable. Have you seen Trump sending the FBI to arrest Obama?
You must always give respect to whom honor is due. I
think you should understand that May 29 was one thing, the countdown for what he has promised the Imo State people
started that day.
And so, chasing shadows, we're not saying if a government embezzles should not be brought to book. There are procedures. When you're doing that, you could be doing what you ought to do. Why send your senior special assistant to go to the ex-governor's apartment. What is he looking for?
Maybe he has gone to recover whatever thing they said. But my worry here really is...
It's going too far.
But my worry here is that there's so much talk about Okorocha, though on the front page of the Daily Sun, the casemen are saying arrest him, prosecute him. But arresting and prosecuting him is not for me.
Sure?
Because I know.
But what is the fact to these that these are Okorocha's casemen? Now, for all you care, I could pose as your caseman and say I'm from your place and I think
well, anybody could say anything, but of course.
I mean, we're just trying to be neutral here, but the truth still remains that sometimes when issues like this pop up, you try and look at it.
But of course, it's on the front page of the Daily that we're trying to discuss what we've seen on the front page of the Daily.
Okorocha's caseman demands his
prosecution. And the question is, why should he be prosecuted? Someone was arguing with me and he said the reason why he feels Okorocha should not be prosecuted is the fact that he stole Igbo's money and invested
if you put all the governors in the Southeast and you're to rate them, believe me, Okorocha will not come last time.
Definitely.
Okorocha will not come last.
A lot of people say he actually stole and invested in the state.
I have been to Imo State. I have done some coverage in Imo State. And believe me, Okorocha did perfectly well. I'm not an Imoite, so I wouldn't know. But to my basic knowledge, what I saw on ground, what I covered on ground, Okorocha did so much for Imo State. But when you say that if Okorocha is found wanted, he shouldn't be brought to book, but there are procedures, there are ways to go about it, not sending the special assistance. So much talk about
away from Okorocha, can we take a look at the rice smuggling and all of that into Nigeria? 150 billion naira worth of rice smuggled into Nigeria in 2019, and they said it came in from Thailand, India, through Senegal. And a lot of Nigerians are asking, why do we even call this smuggling when there is no much rice that will go around for Nigerians? Don't you just open these borders for us to have enough food to feed our nation until we are sure?
I'll never be asking because I've been to Badagry and I know a lot of things happen there. But if you ask an average Malaysian to tell you the amount of rice that comes in from the border, and we're losing a lot, we're not losing so much in terms of border smuggling and the rest. But the question, like you actually pointed out, if we don't have enough,
why should we stop?
But I think one of the basic things the president is trying to do is that he wants us to look inward. Believe me, if we don't, because I remember we talking about in one of the programs and somebody said, look, if you don't have it, you begin to work for it. If you don't have it, you begin to work for it. If rice becomes a serious problem, believe me, I know very well that in Sokoto there's a rice.
We have
local rice. So let's begin to look inward. If we can no longer get the foreign rice, maybe we'll begin to accept.
For the past 2 to 3 years, I've not had to eat foreign rice in my house. I always make use of the Abia rice. That's the truth. I always make use of it. Sometimes I have to go to the mill.
How good is the Abia rice?
Very beautiful, and it's actually tasty. It smells. Sometimes you cook 2 cups of rice and the pot is filled.
It seems you have to pay for this commercial.
The truth of the matter is that the challenge seems to be high.
How much is the bag of the Abia rice?
It's 15,000 naira.
Is it in the market?
Yeah, it is.
You can get that in the Ministry of...
You can go to the Ministry of Agriculture, but I know they have some people that have been designated to sell. So I buy from those people. Sometimes I go to the mill to buy it myself.
Oh, really?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I've gone to the mill to buy it myself. So I'm sure like Abia rice and not when you put in Abia bag.
Anyway, I'll come from some tongue sampling.
But I think we need to commercialize agriculture in Nigeria. That's a basic problem, because if you see the processes these people have to go through, that's why a bag of rice is still that high. If it's a local rice, it should be cheaper. And then you look at it and you're like, these people have to go through a lot of processes manually. You boil it, you do this, you have to sun and all that. At the end of the day, these people are not making so much. They put so much hard work and they earn little at the end of the day. So I think it's high time governments actually stood up to their responsibilities and ensured that for us to have rice produced in Nigeria, we have a lot of parts in Nigeria that produces rice, but they need agriculture to be commercialized. They need to ensure that they are made very simple for these people to actually use machines, and in a few seconds, rice is ready. You understand? So but that's actually another issue we need to talk about some other time. I'm so worried. Each day I get to read the papers, I see people being killed.
Well, I think a lot of Nigerians begin to lose interest completely with security in the country, and I think the presidency needs to do so much in the area. Of course, you and I know that even at that, people, state governors and people are beginning to advocate for state police, which is becoming very impossible day by day, and because some are saying, okay, if state police is not being given the other procedure or the other way around, they need for governors to start forming or start building up on state vigilantes, and because some states have come up to say that ever since they brought in the state vigilantes, you discover that the crime rate, like for example, Anambra, is doing so much in terms of state vigilantes. So I think it's the way to go. You can imagine 1,460 Nigerians killed in 7 months. So if you put that figure, if you increase that to a year, definitely you'll be having approximately 3,000.
But the truth is that this number itself is not. You and I know that there are some persons.
It's more than this.
More than that, there are some persons that are killed are not captured in this data, even in Abia State, and so this is just what the federal government have gotten. And so, because if you go through Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, and all that, the crisis going on, and here 20 killed in Anambra, 10 killed in. You know, I begin to.
Yesterday we had 2 guests in the program where we were taking a look at Abia 28, and of course the focus yesterday was on security, and one of the guests actually pointed out something I think that's very positive when he talked about that if you go to the Enugu, to be precise, where they have a kind of the vigilante that goes into the forest guard, and of course what they do is they try and make sure that the forest is safe, because that's where you and I know that this is where the bandits come out from. That's where they operate from. Uncompleted buildings built around areas that people no longer. I mean, if you go back to history, you saw where Osisi Kanku was killed. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's something that people need to do. This is something that we want to get involved in. But it's of 2 ways. The people and the government. We keep pointing hands to the government. What are we doing as a people? What are we doing as citizens of this country? If you see something, say something. But the bottom line is we don't want to say we keep pointing hands to the government. We also have a role to play to be part of it. If I see somebody in my street, and I mean it's a new face, it is my right to find out who that person is, because if you don't, definitely will buy content.
You know why a lot of people don't stop in Nigeria? Let's face the realities of God here. You can't trust the Nigerian police.
Let's start building that trust.
Yes, it's hard to build. It is the role of the Nigerian police to rebuild the confidence of the people on them. Have you ever seen a situation where you go to the police to report that there's somebody around your vicinity you don't understand that you're being detained? And so if you're detained and you step out, the next person, you tell the next person that I actually went to tell the police that I saw somebody, a strange face, and they detained me because they wanted to actually investigate if I was saying the truth. And then the person said, that's why I don't even go to the police.
Well, I don't
how do
think
you begin to rebuild it?
So the truth of the matter is, a failure will always find an excuse. I think we can still go on because it's about our safety. There's no too big price that one can pay.
For people like us in the southeast, we started with that's why the political party that says it's southeast based talks about be your brother's keeper, and that has been the bedrock on which we were built, or which we were formed in the southeast. But that seems to have been taken away from us. We no longer talk about each other. That's why you see buildings with high fences. Nobody cares. Like where I stay, even the next person you don't know. I already talked to a neighbor I live with, and we want to talk. My neighbor sends you a text. Nora, I'm going out. Please come along with it. And then you're asking yourself, is this how to live?
Yeah, but
in a year, you see somebody that is living the same place with you just once.
I'll tell you what happened after the arrest of the kingpin.
Sorry, we have a caller here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Please don't forget, if you have to call, you have to turn down the volume on your television set and then go straight to your question, your contribution, and of course your name and your location.
Okay, just to bring us to speed, you remember when the last kingpin, Everett, was arrested because one of the estates he was using as his
hideout.
Secret hideout. was an estate. And of course, if the neighbors had not that knowledge that that was what was happening. And after that, it became a law in Lagos State that
no high fences anymore.
Yeah, no, high fences is still there. But what they're doing is that, unknown to you, the state government comes up and say they're going to go through all the houses on the streets. There is security reports. And they'll be forced to come even into your room, to be very specific. And so people can also borrow this from that.
But I remember in Port Harcourt those years too, when I met you as the governor, you don't even try to have a fence. I was there before my eyes where you had to go and pull down the fence of the former governor, Celeste Omehia, to ensure that we know what is happening inside your house. We want to find out enough of all these high fences and then you're covering up so much and we don't know about it. I think we need to revive that spirit.
Well, let's take
this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Go ahead.
All right, okay, there's something also that I think we need to react to. Nigerians indulging in crime abroad not representing the true value of Nigerians. That is coming from the country, from the president. Well, the truth of the matter is, Nora, if you want to
sorry.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? Good morning. We can hear you. Your name and your location, please.
My name is Sandra.
Sandra, please can you tell us where you're calling us from and go ahead with your contribution. Wow. Sandra, so tell us, what's your contribution to the headlines this morning? Oh, there are so many issues. Sandra calling from Lagos. Well, that's good to know that someone is watching online.
All right, I'll quickly, just to lay my voice on this. If you continue to travel out of this country, you discover that once you get to the immigration on the other side and you bring out your green passport, which I think should have been something that people should cherish because of the color. I mean, it's eco-friendly. Green attracts. But you'll be so surprised by the time you put your passport on the table, you get the same look.
So, does it, you Nigerian?
And the question, you see, I was very happy last year when I heard, I was going for my renewal of passport and I was told that they want to change the color of the passport. I came back and I decided to give myself a very good retreat. Still like, oh wow, you made this passport. Are you changing the color of the passport? I said, yes. I said, that is beautiful.
Yeah, and of course, that's not possible.
That is beautiful. But funny enough, when I got my passport, it was still the same green passport that I got. But what we're saying is, but Nora, if I say this, I don't understand. Yeah, it's Nigerian entirely. But what I want to find out is the Igbos, in the Yoruba and the Hausa. I think somebody on Facebook actually pointed out and said, why is it that when something goes wrong, you begin to look at question. But Nora, what are we doing? What do you think we're doing that we're not doing right, coming from the eastern part of the country? Because you discover that when crime is perpetrated abroad and the culprits are 80% are Igbos. The question is, what is happening? In those days, I know there's a saying that good names is better than riches. What is happening? Is it pressure from family? Is it pressure from the Igbo artists? I remember one of the music sang by the late Oliver Deko, and so if you need to be part of it, you need to bring your spade, not your spoon, because the spoon will take nothing out of it. And so, what are we doing? Just look at the FBI raid. 70-something Igbos. Do you know just 2 days ago, there was another information that 80 persons, they are all Igbos. The question is, what is happening? And guess what? It is here that you have the highest churches in Nigeria. And so why are the pastors not preaching right? When are we doing that we're not doing right?
Like I said, the last time we were on the set and we were talking about the same issue because it was on the headlines. We talked about the fact that our parents are not doing certain things right. They don't like it or not. The family is the smallest unit of the society. When you get the family wrong, you've gotten the society wrong. And in most cases, we begin to blame the government not providing an enabling environment. And I asked them, those days too, I had parents who never had an opportunity of an enabling environment, but they lived right. They made legal wealth. And the truth is, this quest to make money so easily, and it's because and then a lot of people, you come into a community, and I know that you're actually a fraudster. And the community is celebrating you, the church is celebrating you. In some churches, they make you an elder, they even give you titles.
No, but once you can build a church and you can give car.
And this pastor that is making you an elder, this pastor that is actually giving you, he knows that this man is a fraudster.
And you know the funny part of it? They will ask you to come and kneel down at the altar. Please stretch your hands towards him.
And pray for him.
And pray for him.
That the Lord will increase him on every side. The Lord will do it for him.
Since you have witnessed to him.
Why not? And then you sit back and these other members of the church are like, wow, this is the way it is. Let me guy kneel down too. I've seen a situation where some parents will even say, I can't learn from Mike. I think we need to come and learn from him. And then he becomes my boy, and I begin to train him how to use the internet.
You saw what happened at the in Canada States. And of course, so it's we need to go back to the basic. We need to go back to the foundation. And of course, going back to the foundation is going back to the nursery. Talking to those ones that are just 2-3 years old to settle their dignity and doing the right thing. Because this generation completely has lost it. But thank God we still have some good ones that could put up their heads and say, I actually made my money. Right.
It was like me. Of course, you can't be proud of what you do every day.
I should be the one to talk about it. Anyway, let's also talk about the 9.6 billion naira judgment that federal government denies alleged non-diligent defense of case. But I really want to take us to the one that actually caught my fancy. I'm talking about the $16 billion power project.
Heads to roll.
Heads to roll.
Heads to roll so much.
So sometimes these things are very disgusting when you hear some of these things. It becomes, I mean, if you're coming to Nigeria as a foreigner to invest, and you see this,
you pick up a daily,
and pick up the daily, and you see heads to roll over 16 billion naira project from the government itself. From the government itself, you're having 16 billion naira.
That's in trillions.
Of course, that's trillions, and you're asking yourself, if even the government are not sincere to themselves, what happens?
Do you also notice one of the reasons why our boys have to get engaged in those things? After all,
even people at the top are not saying.
Like somebody was, we're arguing about this whole issue.
Do you have a caller?
No. Somebody said to me, Nora, do you know why people do this? I said, whatever reason you give to me, I don't like it and I condemn it. He said, yes, because politicians are stealing our money, enjoying it, and government is not prosecuting anyone. And then these ones are even trying to take back the money that's...
Somebody, I was talking to a friend that I know that's into internet scam, and I said, why are you doing this? And they said, they came and took our forefathers as slaves. They are paying back.
That's exactly their language. And also sometimes I ask why this. The whites you see them as very intelligent, but somehow we now see them very gullible.
No. You see, the white man takes your word for real. Believe me, the white man takes your word for real. Nora, where are you from? He says, if you say you're from Niger, he has no cause to doubt it. Why would she want to tell lies that she's not from Niger? And so, not gullible is like they're being sincere, and of course, taking advantage of that. And I said, oh, so your forefathers, so you're paying back? He said, yes, of course. They're paying back.
I'm actually excited that these men are waking up from slumber, because most of them now complain that market is not as it used to be. They're not responding to treatment anymore. These days when they send bells, criminals first and get out. But I think it's high time they stood up and told themselves that the money they've made, they can invest, because do what is right, and let's also talking about this whole thing.
Did you see the younger guy among the people that were arrested by FBI, 29 years old, and of course he has more than $300 million in his account in the US. What is he doing with it? 28 years old. And of course they have to trace it back to, and you know some of the things that these guys do, sometimes they get carried away. He had a birthday bash. He flew all the way from America to South Africa to have his birthday, and it was being bait up by champagne. You can imagine. you're celebrating and people are spraying a bottle of champagne on you. And of course, that would definitely bring the FBI's, the South African police to say, who is this guy? Do you know what the cost of a champagne is? And of course, not any kind of hotel, one of the best hotels in South Africa. And so, the track to say, we need to tell this guy, we need to find out where it's coming from.
Now, that's also one of the guys, the first guy that actually made FBI to begin this whole issue was one of the Nigerians who made so much money. I even received award by what's the name? Forbes as one of the youngest entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Little did they know that the young man was into internet fraudster, just opened one business as a cover-up, just like most of them do, and that was actually the issue. Well, so many things to talk about in regards to dailies, but the truth of the matter is that Nigeria should, as a matter of urgency, begin to do things right so that we get back our identity from the international community. Well, Mr. Mike, this is where we have to draw the curtain on this particular segment. Thank you so much for joining us to do justice to the dailies. And we'll take a break. When we return, your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. Continuous, please don't go anywhere. You're welcome back, and it feels good to know you're still tuned into your indispensable program on television, Good Morning Abia, and of course, it's the discussion segment where we talk about issues and matters arising in the Nigerian society, especially as it affects you and I. And still in the mood of celebrating Abia State, we want to take another critical look at infrastructure development. And today, to talk about that with me on the program is one of our own, Mr. Osono Substance. So you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Nora. Good morning, Abians.
Good to have you in the studio this morning. Now let's go straight to the issue of this court, Abia at 28 infrastructure development. First, let me begin by asking you, do you think Abia has any reason to celebrate at 28?
There are a lot of reasons to celebrate. We are since 28 years ago when Abia was created. We've been going through tough times. We have had leaders who have no interest, no patriotism in their spirit. We had military administrators who came here as conquerors, and when we entered into the civilian area, Obonon was able to have, his only achievement was the Abia Tower. And that's nonsense. We move forward. We now had other military administrators, were my own, Temiejo and all that, Orisa and whatever. The Kemos who came were started to instill discipline. Our people petitioned because they didn't want somebody that would instill discipline. Then we came into the democracy thing, the Joseph Carlos administration. Nothing to write home about so much. Then the worst of it was theology. Even though them what people are celebrating him because he gave them what people, he said, power. But one thing I want to find out is that do what people, in spite of whether he gave power or not, then what people will rule. Because this is not the first time then what people have contested for governorship. I remember when Dr. Ndalibe, during Abacha time, who could have been the governor. Gershon and Mutatu, they have got children, people who have been. But luckily now, Kezipazo has got it. In this administration, yes, he has done good things, infrastructural development, which if his predecessors had done, what he could have done by now was to build on what they have done. And that is why everybody out there in Akwa Ibom is celebrating Ata. Ata built. Akpabio came and yes, Ata laid the foundation. Akpabio came and increased on it, and the young man Emmanuel Odom now is doing so fine, and that is how government is a continuum. Okay, so personally, kudos to the young man Okazi Bazo for having started. I hope whoever comes to take over in 2023 should be able to improve on what he is doing now, and what we are expecting him by before 2023. He should have done greater further to whatever he has done in the last 4 years. That will one way we can start saying Abia is doing well infrastructurally. In spite of what they said, look at Imo. Okorocha did something in his first time until the berberism disease caught with him, and he started having his problems.
No, from your analogy, it does appear that the problem of Abia is actually leadership.
The problem of Abia is leadership. The problem of Nigeria is leadership, not only Abia.
So we have to, because you're looking at Abia, are you saying we should blame our leaders for the poor state of infrastructure in Abia?
Yes, the past leaders.
Now, let's take a look at, because when we talk about infrastructure, we're not just talking about the roads.
No, it's not the roads.
We're also talking about the rails, we're talking about housing,
we're talking about industries, we're talking about industries.
All of that.
Yes.
Now, let's take a look at electricity. For instance, government is supposed to provide electricity for the people, and it's regarded as one of the priorities of government for societal and economical development. How far would you rate Abia as 28 years?
No, what happened is this. The issue of electricity, you cannot put it on the Abia government as of now, I mean the present Abia government, because the federal government took over the issue of electricity for themselves. And you realize what happened in the last administration, the PDP administration, where some people decided to snatch what was a project that was meant to be so-called in the states, in particular, geometric, and the other state government were trying to set up something in Abia for the betterment of these people. But some of our people, you know, the way we behave, decided to circumvent and take over the place and form what they call the EEDC thing in order to do this, so that this one. But I thank God that the present governor has decided to say, look, geometry has to come back and take over what he has done. You can see what the man Batinaji did. If that thing has started, we wouldn't have been suffering what we are suffering about electricity in this part of the world, and possibly from here it have taken over other areas of Abia State. So we can see that I think with this effort of our governor to make sure that Batinaji, in conjunction with Batinaji, that they will come back. The federal government will give whatever they say they will pay to this. Let them pay them to get out of this place, because they have ripped us off so much.
But the state government also made effort. Of course, some people at the Abia international markets, at the power line, now have constant electricity supply.
Yes, that's kudos to Okazi's administration.
So now let's take a look at water. Water is one of the basic necessities of man. Without water, we can't live. And now it does appear that water too is now a luxury.
Yeah, I want to implore the government. Earlier, when before the British left us there, and even when they left, we had the water works. Please, can we revive the water works system so that we can have taps all over? This situation of everybody sinking borehole in every home and all that, I don't think is the best. But most of these things are not related. But when we had the water works, the government, Eastern Nigerian government, they were related, and people you don't see much of these diseases we were having. So if the governor is listening to me, please try and see if we can look into this water works thing and see if it can be revived by the government, or get an organization that can come and do it, so that good water for the people to be taken.
That brings me to ask a question about what's the role of the Ministry of Water Resources are doing, because we used to have a commissioner for water resources, and the question is, even with everything and the promises that have been made, we don't seem to find water for people. I come from a place where water is actually a serious luxury. And so if you see a borehole, you're the chief in that community. Okay. How do we begin to deal with this particular one in area of infrastructure development?
So that's why I'm saying that our state governor should make efforts to see that we revive these water works so that it will go a long way to touch the lives of people. You know, now that everybody has the resources to open up a borehole and everything. You know, and remember, one of the things when we were growing up in Abia those days in the 50s and 60s and everything, we knew everybody on our street. It also helps for us to know who stays on our street. Because at that time we go to the tap. It is at the tap we go to bed. We know whoever is there. If we find a face from elsewhere, we now say this person is not on our street. So it also helps to identify people living on one street and able to know who they are, what they do. It will be an opportunity to secure our streets as well.
Now let's look at the rails. You know, Abia was one of the states, or is one of the states that have rail lines. And so far we could say we no longer have one. Last night I was opportune to actually get close to the rail line and we found a new train, but not moving. And we tried to ask questions and they said it will move anytime soon. The rail lines are not good and all of that.
You see, the problem is the issue of rails is not under the state's policy. But I know that our governors must have been making efforts with the federal government to listen. But I want to say here and now clear. This administration of Buhari has not done well for us. Amechi is an Igbo name and he's the Minister of Transport. He came here, he's only citing the railways that goes from Lagos to the northern states. The one from Port Harcourt where it comes from, that goes from, we are supposed to go from here to Enugu to the north. Nothing is being done about them. And he said they come up here, keep on recycling people who are not interested in of building their sector or their zone.
For political reasons.
It's for political reasons. It's annoying. He should be as the minister. Know that what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. If we are trying to construct and make the rail line to the north, from Lagos to the north, you should also start the road from Port Harcourt to the north, so that most of these goods and services will be operating. As the northerners are benefiting, we should be benefiting. This Nigeria belongs to everybody. It's not a northern Nigeria. It is Nigeria for north, south, east, west. These are the things, this is what we call patriotism.
Now, let's look at the issue of housing. I recall that past administrations, especially that of Senator Theodore Orji, built a lot of estates that are not being inhabited by anyone. Some of them are even abandoned as we speak. And yet a lot of people are on the streets looking for where to lay their heads. Housing is actually also a necessity.
Yeah. You see, one of the greatest problems of man, our problem to people that if you want to know a poor man, it is not whether he wears clothes or whether he has eaten. It's when a poor man has no place to lay his head. Especially if you have been able to stay and sport with somebody, and one day he comes and says, young man or young lady, it's time for you to leave, and you don't have a place to go, you know what it is. So, if I implore our governor, those houses that are built, those estates that have been built, please, let's give it out to the citizenry, especially the workers, so that from their salaries, you can be taking part of their salaries every month, so that they have places to stay with their families. Because this issue of you build houses only, rodents are living inside them, and call them housing estates, it's not worth it. So please, make efforts to share those houses to our citizens so that they have places to lay their heads.
Now let's come to the main issue, roads. Everybody talks about roads, and of course for us to have investors coming to Abia and invest, they must have access to the urban centers, development centers, and of course to other parts of the state. How would you rate infrastructure development from the military to civil rule in Abia 28 years down the line?
Yeah, the military did not do so much. as far as roads were concerned. But they were the federal roads, the big federal roads, yes. But these days they are dilapidated. It's also asking the governor. The road from Ekotekpene to Umuahia, the road from Ekotekpene to Abia. If we have the resources, we should make such roads motorable. It will bring in more investors. It will uplift our IGR. The one from Port Harcourt to Abia, the Port Harcourt road, I think it's on it right now. The one from Owerri road, coming this way, if we can bring them in on stream, I think Abia State will be happy.
But if you had to, if you ask the state government to take a look at building the federal roads from Abia to Akwa Ibom State, and of course Umuahia to Akwa Ibom State, and there are a lot of roads which are in the states that needs urgent attention. I know that there is a road that is built from Isiko Junction straight down, leads you straight down to Akwa Ibom State. It was built by the state government, and so that's where they now use. And when you ask questions, they'll tell you there are lots. The government always say there are no federal citizens, so we have federal roads, but we should deal with it. But don't you think our focus more should be on the state roads, because we have a lot of roads beckoning for attention rather than the federal roads?
Yeah, the state roads, I think it's on them. The thing is that we should urge him to make it greater priority. Now, I think that there's a problem we have since the Second Republic. Earlier in the First Republic, what we call the county councils or the local government councils were autonomous per se, and were able to, the whole of Abia roads, especially when we were in Abia, was being tied and taken care of by Abia One County Council. I think they should allow the local government councils to take care of roads within their local governments, and that will help.
Will they have the resources and the capacity?
Resources that are being shared by the states should be given to the local government. They have their own what do you call it? Government allocations. It should go straight to the local government councils. And so that the people in the local government are able to ask, why is it that our roads are not taken care of? From the chairman, you understand what I'm saying? Then the state know that the road that is, it should be the state roads. But these other ones should be taken care of by the local government. Let's say somebody going to Waru, let's somebody going to Iten, Uzakala, and all that. The local government areas that could have been taken that very much rebel.
But that's one of the basic essence of having local government areas, to bring governance down to the ground.
Yes, that's it.
And I know the issue of roads too, we've had a lot of infrastructure as for that roads, but there appears to be so many completed projects and littered around. What do you think about that?
I think that's an area I want to ask the governor. The governor should, at one point on his own, forget about the commissioner for works, forget about your so-called special advisors or whatever. Disguise yourself, take a vehicle and pick up one or two security move round to find the projects, road projects. Are they really done by the contractors? Are they really done to standard? It's not a question of when the commissioner comes and says, yes, we've done this road, and you don't see the picture or whatever, and he tells you he's done the road. No, go yourself, touch the thickness, be sure. Is it standard? Will it last? If the rain comes, will it be there? That is what leadership is all about. You are for the people, you are not for anybody. Because people advise or whatever, they will advise you, give you all this, but go out on your own. Make efforts to find out, are they doing it? The resources you have signed are approved for them, are they utilizing it? Because most times, these people with their contractors connive, or if let me use the word of General Danjuma, they collude. So they collude and they give you substandard jobs. So it is you because the box stopped on your table.
Yes.
Nobody knows commissioner for works. Nobody knows the contractors. All look, go out on the street. What they will say, it passes government, the administration. The box stopped on their table. So it's left for you to know. Because most of the agencies of government, they do a lot of wonderful things. And nobody calls them. They want to say, it passes administration. Look at what. So that's the issue. Most times, go on their own. Don't wait for commissioner, go to commissioner for work. Find out what are they doing the right thing. That is your responsibility.
Well, to you out there who have been looking at infrastructure Abia at 28, and of course there is no again saying that the present administration is trying on its own to ensure that certain infrastructure are being put in place. Like my guest said, if other past administrations had done that, it would have been an easy ride for the present administration. But of course, when the people elected you, they didn't elect you for excuses. They elected a leader they trusted to give them all that they need. We'll take a break, and when we return, the discussion segment continues. Please don't go away.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Glad to know you're still there and it's still the discussion segment. And of course, the lines have been opened for you to call in. Please, if you call, tell us your name and your location. But please don't forget you have to turn down the volume on your television set so that we'll get to hear you all and know your contribution. Abia at 28, don't forget, no name calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the program. Your name and your location. I'm fine, sir. Your name, please. Okay, sir. Please, can you give us your contribution? Your TV set. We can't hear you well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. David. Of course, we've talked about water.
Yes.
We've also talked about roads, which he let them passes on. While expecting more calls, let's look at aesthetics. Aesthetics.
Yes. Aesthetics, zero. I must confess. At the time, some people to be planting palm trees on the.
Let's take this caller. Hello, good morning. Okay, you can continue, sir.
Yeah, because you can't plant palm trees on the major roads. It's not. So we can. I think the minister for the commissioner for this one shouldn't be for works. It should be commissioner for environment
and public utilities.
Should be thinking about getting aesthetics like you have. If you go to Abia, you can see how beautiful the place is. If you go to Port Harcourt, you see how you see even everybody. Please, let's make Abia State a wonderful place. The Japan of Africa. That make things, let the commissioner for the new commissioner that is coming on environment should be able to do something. Not planting palm trees on the roads. No, it's not. There's no beauty in the towns. So we should be able to do that.
Now, there is a resurgence of street lights across, especially in the state capital. Of course, everywhere you go, you see street lights, and a lot of people are celebrating that. Do you think is what we should celebrate because it's something that we should have had even before now?
No, this administration is doing well to do that, but I'm only asking, are they being lighted?
The ones in Omaha are.
Fine. If there are congratulations, kudos to the administration. I want it to be done in Abia so that every night Abia will be lit up so that we can see. And no, that is why I'm saying I thank him for making effort that geometry should come on screen. Because in that case, geometry is not only a distributor, he transmits, he produces and the electricity and gives out. So that we will need to have constant electricity at least 22 hours, if not 24 hours in a day. So the governor is doing well.
No, let's go back to some other issues that has to do with infrastructure development. There's so much. Even when I was trying to take a look at what infrastructure really is, I discovered that the government is expected to provide internet facilities anywhere you go to. In Western words, once you get into the airport, till you get to wherever you are, you have free internet facility. You go to hotels, they give you free internet because they know it is your right. Why are we so far, not just Abia but Nigeria, from having some of these facilities and stop making them priority?
I think it is the issue of it goes down to what kind of leadership we have. You're talking about Nigeria. I'm not talking about Abia State now. But my governor is educated. He has so he can also. We need a digital library here. I found out that there are no libraries in Abia State.
We have an e-library in Abia, but it's not that functional.
So why? Somebody has
to. What kind of infrastructure you're talking about?
Fine. We need to have an e-library. We need to have good libraries all over, and it's not both more here, even in the local government councils, so that people see the issue of migration from the local government into the cities can be agreed. If I can have internet listing in my local government, I can source any information and all that. I stay there. You do a lot of things. You can even sit down there and study, take courses overseas.
So what do you think should be the solution to the issues of infrastructure in Abia as we clock 28?
No, the governor has said in his maiden broadcast that he is going to leave a legacy by the time he's leaving in 2023. I want to hold him by his words. Okay, that's what he told us, and I want it to be a reality. So that by the time you go, there are things to remember you for. It is not a question of coming to pass through governance without leaving a legacy. Children who were not born when Mbappe was here, people whenever we were talking about, they say, who is this Mbappe? Everybody talking about Mbappe, everybody talking about Mbappe. So I also want anybody, the future children coming up to say, who is this OKC person? What did he do? People are talking about it. That's the way you leave a legacy. That's anything you are doing that will not leave a name for you. That's what I'm telling him. The box stops on his table. By the time this administration, if nobody remembers the commissioner for work, nobody remembers the contractors, nobody remembers the guys, okay, this one didn't do well. And then as everybody does say, he said that this guy administration didn't do anything.
So what should be the role of Abians? Of course, some of them have a bad attitude to this infrastructure we are talking about.
Fine. The issue is this. We have to reorganize our minds to doing the right things. One, Abians should stop throwing things into the gutters. Stop defacing public properties, or even their homes. I think it should be made that even in our respective streets, let it be that yearly people should be able to paint their homes so that it looks beautiful. These are the cities you are talking about. This is a question of you come, homes are not painted. Even the white people, we always paint their homes every year to bring the beauty of the place. These are things that are supposed to be done here. You don't even need the government to tell you that. It makes the environment clean and neat. So these are issues. We need to really know how to also know how to take care of our debts, not putting them into the gutters and all that.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Silvio Substance, AK, for joining us on the program this morning. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much.
And to you out there, we want to thank you for joining us on the discussion segment. But don't forget that for us to achieve a better society, all hands has to be on deck. We must all add our quota to the development. While we blame government for lack of infrastructure, we should also blame ourselves for bad attitudes to government property. Well, up next is sports with Jonah Oji. Stay tuned.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Good morning and welcome to the sports segment of our program. My name is Jonah Oji, and in the world of sports there are so many things to talk about. Right now we want to start from our whole front where we have our contingents that are actually participating at the ongoing 12th All-African Games, and of course I want to tell you that our own Super Falconets, our own Falconets have actually done well, and that final where they actually engaged their Cameroonian counterparts, they came off victorious at the end of that game to claim their gold medals. And the young Lionesses were unable to stop their West African rivals from reclaiming the continental crown. The Nigerian U20 women's team emerged as the champions of the 2019 African Games after they beat Cameroon 3-2 on penalties in Rabat on Thursday. The teams have played out a parent draw after a short time before the Falconets won the ensuing penalty kicks at Buka Ama Stadium. In the semi-final on Monday, Christopher Danjuma's side cruised past Algeria 3-0, while Cameroon required a short time to subdue host Morocco 3-1 on the same day. So we say congratulations to our own Super Falcons, and actually they have broken the jinx which was actually locking around them since 2007. We say congratulations to them. Alright, away from that now we go over to tennis where Nigeria is also doing well. I want to tell you that our team Nigeria's Olajide Omotayo has emerged as the new champion of African Games men's table tennis singles after edging out compatriot Aruna Kodri in the keenly contested final of the 2019 edition in Rabat, Morocco on Thursday. Favored Omotayo conquered three of the best players in Africa to be crowned the champion to come out of the continent. From the quarterfinal stage, Omotayo worked his way to the final, beating two former champions, Egypt's Ahmed Saleh and Nigeria's Shehu Toriola in the quarterfinal and semi-final stages. The final produced the best of Africa, with Aruna Kodri going up against Omotayo, and the fans were treated to an amazing excitement. So we say congratulations to Omotayo. Alright, while we talk about that, we have another athlete of Nigeria who actually departed the camp there in Morocco to participate at the Diamond League, but it was a disappointing day for her. That person is Blessing Okabare. After dumping Team Nigeria at the ongoing African Games in Morocco, former Commonwealth Games double sprint champion Blessing Okabare could not achieve her aim in the 200 meters final there at the IAF Diamond League in Zurich, Switzerland yesterday. Okabare, who was disqualified in the 100 meters semi-final at the African Games for beating the starters Ghana, finished in the distance 6th position at the IAF Diamond League. The race was won by Bahamas' Sean Miller in a time of 21.74 seconds. A bad day and a disappointing moment for Blessing Okabare. Alright, away from that now we travel to England. We will be talking about football where it will be happening this weekend. You will be seeing different clubs engage each other at different stadiums across England in the English Premier League. I want to tell you that Southampton on Saturday will find out against Manchester United. Chelsea Stamford Bridge will entertain Sheffield United, the new promoters. Crystal Palace will go head to head with Aston Villa. The King Power Stadium it will be Leicester City against Bournemouth. Manchester City, the defending champions of the English Premier League, with Red Tigers with Brighton. Newcastle United at the St. James's Park with Lockhart with Watford. West Ham will be up against Norwich. Burnley will play host to Liverpool. Then on Sunday, Everton will find out against Wolves, while Arsenal will seek to salvage what they lost last week as they find out against Tottenham Hotspur, another clash of the Titans there. Alright, away from that now we go over to the UEFA Champions League draws that actually took place yesterday. Different clubs actually were able to know their foes in the UEFA Champions League that will start in September. In Group A, Paris Saint-Germain will find out against Real Madrid, Club Brugge, and of course Galatasaray. In Group B, we have Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur, Olympiacos, and of course Venza. Manchester City, Shakhtar Donetsk, Dinamo Zagreb, Atalanta in Group C. While in Group D, we have Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Leverkusen, Lokomotiv Moscow. In Group E, we have the defending champions of the UEFA Champions League, that is Liverpool. They will be fighting out against Napoli, Salzburg, and of course Genk. In Group F, we have Barcelona, Tottenham Hotspur, Inter Milan, Slavia Praha. In Group G has Zenit St. Petersburg, Benfica, Olympique Lyonnais, and Leipzig. While Group H contains Chelsea, Ajax, Valencia, and Lyon. These are the fixtures that you will be expecting as the UEFA Champions League kicks off this September. Alright, because of our time, this is how far we can go on this segment. I want to hand you over to Noroka.
Thank you so much, Jonah, for the update on the sporting segment. And of course, this is where we call it a day on today's edition of your indispensable program on television, Good Morning Abia. We want to appreciate you, our guests, and of course, for you out there who have taken your time to be with us from the start of the program to the end. Please just stay tuned for Unasalachi Umabia with Chinyere Chibu. My name is Nora Okafor, saying be the change you want to see, and congratulations once again to Abia as a celebrate 28 years of existence. Bye for now.